Last week I did a blog in which I asked you to suggest great actor performances in bad movies, and we've had loads of responses, somewhere like getting near 300 responses so far, so I'm going to let that run for a bit and I'll respond to that next week. But it leads me nicely into something that's happening on the 5 Live show this Friday. Our guest this Friday is Viggo Mortensen. Some time ago I said Viggo Mortensen is the new Robert De Niro, and a couple of weeks back somebody emailed the show, said, well, you said he's the new Robert De Niro, you said give it a few years, everyone will accept that. Well, it hasn't happened. I think it has. Firstly, look at the evidence. In terms of bad movies that Viggo Mortensen has made, far fewer than Robert De Niro ever made. I mean, okay, there's the early examples like Young Guns 2, which isn't great, and of course he was in Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3. But then again, Renee Zellweger and Matthew Mahogany were in Texas Chainsaw Massacre 4, and it didn't hurt their careers. But the very few bad movies aside, just look at the great stuff he's been in. He's coming on the show to talk about Dangerous Method, the new film he's made with David Cronenberg. Now, I don't think Dangerous Method is great, but I think Viggo Mortensen is great in it. And of course his partnership with David Cronenberg has given us such wonders as Eastern Promises, in which he plays a fantastically enigmatic gangster who looks, I think, not unlike a certain Bolshoi film critic. And of course History of Violence, which was the movie which first made me say, this guy is the new Robert De Niro. Then, of course, there's The Road, a fantastic end-of-the-world apocalypse movie which was sadly shunned at the box office, I think largely because the trailers misrepresented the movie as being some kind of disaster movie. In fact, it was so much more than that, had real human heart and soul, thanks largely to Viggo Mortensen's stunning central performance. And he's done mainstream movies, he's in Crimson Tide. He is, of course, the best thing in Ridley Scott's G.I. Jane. Certainly he gets the best line in that movie, which is, when I want your opinion, I'll give it to you. Moreover, he spends most of the movie running around in the shortest pair of short shorts I've ever seen. Who knew the Navy was so on fashion? Now, it may be true that Mortensen doesn't yet have the iconic quality of Robert De Niro, but the fact of the matter is he's far more selective about the projects that he does. Early on in his career, he established his credentials as a true artist with a terrific role in Sean Penn's The Indian Runner. Now, the film was flawed, but Viggo Mortensen once again was great in it, and there was a terrific supporting performance from Charles Bronson. So, was I right? Is Viggo Mortensen in fact the new Robert De Niro or not? I'd like to just slightly amend that to say that in my opinion, Viggo Mortensen is the new old Robert De Niro. You know, the Robert De Niro that only made really great films. Let me know if you think I'm right.
There's a rumor you've taken one of your patients as a mistress.
Surely you didn't think I'd let you go without putting up a fight.
Don't you think we ought to stop?
Do you want to stop?
You still love him.
Will you come back to us now?
Sometimes you have to do something unforgivable just to be able to go on living.